The iPhone XR and Galaxy S10e are wonderful phones, bestowed upon us by the Apple and Samsung phone maker gods. Each has the majesty and grandeur of the iPhone XS and Galaxy S10, for the most part, just not the price. In fact, both phones cost just $750, which isn't cheap, but isn't $1,000 either. Both come in blue. But what I'm interested in is the cameras. The iPhone XR has the exact same main camera as the iPhone XS. It just lacks the telephoto camera. The Galaxy S10e has 2 of the 3 Galaxy S10 rear cameras. Like the iPhone XR, it's missing a dedicated telephoto lens. So I took both of these phones out around San Francisco for the past few weeks to test and compare. I have a confession to make. I, Patrick Holland, fell really hard for the Galaxy S10e's wide-angle camera. Hey, look, I know, Huawei, LG, they got wide angles too, but this one is just so much fun to use, and I love the results. Hey, Jem, cue the wide-angle footage. Jim, you son of a gun, that's a great montage. So the reason I like this ultra-wide camera so much is the perspective it gives me. I could take a picture of the main camera and then take the same photo with the ultra-wide, and it just kind of distorts things a little bit. It kind of bends things, and it's really cool and kind of a fresh point of view. Also, it's great for when I'm in a tight spot. Here's a photo I took of a statue of K2SO from Star Wars. It was probably about 7 feet tall or so, but with the main camera, I couldn't get the statue entirely in the frame. I tap on the icon, switch to the ultra-wide, and bam, K2SO is all there. Samsung did a great job matching the main and ultra-wide cameras. Colors and exposures are similar, despite them being very different lenses. But you know what? The ultra-wide lens isn't the only thing I like about the cameras on the Galaxy S10e. It seems to me like Samsung kind of tweaked the recipe a bit on the HDR and the scene optimizations, and I kind of like it better than last year's phones. Samsung has a history of making photos a little too bright, but the Galaxy S10e finds a better balance between the shadows and contrast. Hey, on the other hand, the iPhone XR does a fantastic job at balancing exposure and details. Its weakness, though, is color. Okay, sometimes it's the white balance seems a little off, and you can kind of adjust that. Other times, it just seems like it has trouble with colors that are green or blue, or greenish blue, or bluish green. You know what I mean. Hey, take a look at these photos of the Giants game. The grass in this shot from the iPhone XR, it just looks weird. I don't know if it's from the stadium lighting or what, but ew, it did not look like that. The photo from the S10e looks more true to life. It's the way I saw it with my eyes. Hey, overall, the iPhone XR shoots photos that are really sharp and have lots of detail. That's not to say the Galaxy S10e is soft. It's kind of soft. It's just not as clinically sharp as the iPhone. But at the end of the day, it's not about optical perfection so much as what you prefer. Here's another photo, this one of a stormtrooper costume at LucasArts. Both photos look very similar, but notice the black armor around the shoulder. The iPhone XR photo has more detail and sharpness, notice the theme, and the S10e version looks softer. Hey, both of these phones can shoot raw images. However, with the iPhone, you gotta use a third-party app. Now, as someone who always likes to do a little light editing on his photo before I post them, I thought I'd give it a try with each of these phones. I took a photo of the Yoda fountain in the Presidio, and I wanted to see if I could make the Jedi Master look a little less, well, on the dark side. Impressively, JPEGs from both phones have enough information that I can boost the shadows without getting too much noise. Here's the one from the iPhone, and here's the one from the S10e. But let's move away from shadows and talk about lens flare. The main camera on the Galaxy S10e, it gets a lot of lens flare. Here, take a look at these photos of the Ferry Building. Notice the lens flare in the photo for the S10e. Now take a look at the one from the iPhone XR. Also, while we're here, notice how the iPhone XR's HDR made the sky the perfect blue. Some of you may like that, but it's not always the case for me. There are a lot of times where I really like the iPhone's HDR. But there are other times, like the blue sky in that photo, where it's just a bit much. And yet, that's kind of where we're at with computational photography in 2019. It does help a lot of things, but it's far from perfect. Hey, both of these phones have portrait mode on them, which is no surprise, but they don't have a telephoto lens. So they use different ways to accomplish those portrait photos. The iPhone uses software. The limitation is you can only take portraits of people. This Darth Maul lamp couldn't fool the iPhone XR enough to take a portrait photo. However, since the Galaxy S10E uses both the main camera and the ultra-wide-angle camera, Darth Maul finally has some bokeh. In fact, I can even select a color to highlight while making the rest of the photo black and white. Hey, at the end of the day, I prefer portrait mode photos from the iPhone XR. There's better detail and the skin tones look more accurate. On the Galaxy S10e, even if you turn the beauty mode all the way down, portrait photos still look a tad soft. But you know what, let's talk about low light. The Galaxy S10e, its main camera has that dual aperture, so it can switch from a narrow aperture to a wider one to let more light in. And that, coupled with this new bright night scene optimization, can yield some pretty dang good low light photos. Here's a shot of an intersection outside Oracle Park. The Galaxy S10e photo has a nice dynamic range, though it suffers a bit from motion blur. The iPhone XR is more contrasty and dark. Hey, neither of these phones has a dedicated night sight mode or night mode like the Google Pixel 3 or the Huawei P30 Pro. But if I had to pick one for low light shots, I gotta give the edge to the Galaxy S10e. But let's talk video. For a very long time, the iPhone has had a much better quality of video than Android phones in terms of image quality and low light. But the Galaxy S10e has made some pretty big improvements over last year. And, well, I was kind of surprised by it until something happened. Well, kinda. Well, hey, let's stop by my desk and I'll explain. So welcome to my desk. So here's the Galaxy S10e, and here's one of the videos I shot on it. Let's take a look. Here's the video I shot on the Galaxy S10e. It looks really good on the phone. Here's a copy of the video I downloaded, and here's how it looked on the phone. See the difference? The one I downloaded is missing the saturation, it's missing the contrast. It seems to me like it's missing a LUT. So I'm not exactly sure what happened here, but I know after 4 tries we got a version of the video file to download. I'm still working with Samsung to figure things out. And with that, back to the studio. And despite the video download hiccup, and honestly that's all I think this is, I'm pretty impressed with the video from the Galaxy S10e. But I still feel the iPhone's video looks better in daylight, in low light, and in slow-mo. Okay, so considering everything we just talked about, which phone do I think has a better camera system? I think the iPhone XR is technically better in many ways. But I cannot stop taking photos with the Galaxy S10e. It's just so much fun, and I feel so inspired by it. And what's this?
That's the Huawei.
The Huawei P30 Pro?
Yep.
Oh boy, things just got complicated. Oh, it's got like a 50 times zoom. Jim, I can see your pores. Ooh, you might want to